are glad to join you. I didn't expect this trip. I decided to go on it Tuesday, and we left Wednesday. And so I'm down here in St. Augustine, which is kind of like home to me because I grew up in Florida, and but have been living in North Carolina. So what I've chosen to do is to introduce various panels every week. Every Friday on Frequency Friday, we offer you another panel if you attend a meeting. And Karen just mentioned that she had a series of serial numbers. So you can expect Monday to be able to receive that panel. The panel is sitting, I believe, on my desktop on my computer at home. We thought it had gone out, but for one reason or another, it didn't arrive. So when I get back, I can't access the desktop from here. But when I get home, I'll be able to access it and then email it off to Karen. And it's not really a bad drive. It's 451 miles from here to Asheville, North Carolina.
Only. Huh?
How are you, Pamela?
Oh, I'm good. I'm excited that you're in Florida. Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'm excited that you're in Florida.
Far from you, Pamela. You're down around Orlando, to the east of Orlando.
Longwood. So it's a little north of Orlando.
Wildwood?
Longwood?
Oh, Longwood, yes. I know Longwood. Right.
Longwood, yeah. But I have a question for you tonight. So I'll let you do your presentation and then I'll ask you the question. How's that?
You can ask me the question anytime. You can stop me along the way. Yeah, the presentation really is rather simple. When I did, okay, so what we're trying to do is create panels, okay, that are free of charge to you, that you can run in a continuous mode. And as I've suggested in the last call, that the sleep panel does not run in the daytime and the energy panel does not run in the nighttime. And we don't run the two panels together because that sort of cancels it out. So in the research that I've done and in my experience that I've had, I found that in sleep, particularly in sleep, there are a few recognizable things that people right off the bat kind of gravitate to. One of them would be melatonin. And people think of melatonin and how much melatonin. Again, that's kind of up to the individual because each person requires more or less. I mean, there's no set amount. Another one that you kind of gravitate towards would be hops. You know, hops is as a matter of fact, when they go to pick hops, they have to be careful because when they're out in the field, as they pick the hops, they get drowsy. So hops is that I've chosen to add to this panel. And I've divided it really in two ways. I divided it into herbal preparations and essential oil preparations, because a big part of sleep you can resolve with the essential oils. And you're going to see a relatively large variety of essential oils in this particular panel. And some of them will stand out. Some probably won't stand out as much because you don't recognize them as much. But you'll have it, and you know, I've tested some of these by using the device, and I found that some people are so sensitive to the essential oils, even though we don't present them to them directly, they can smell them. Somehow they smell them, and they don't really get an indication of what it is because you have, you know, quite a few essential oils, so the smell is kind of mixed up. But I've actually had that happen where people seem to think that they're able to smell these essential oils. Now, I'm not going to doubt them because they say they do. So that's what we did. We divided it into two categories. We divided it into essential oils and to everything else. And so when you see this panel, you know, it's not a complicated one. It's just one that will work, kind of like the digestion one did, a lot like the immune system one did. And as a matter of fact, this is kind of amazing. Yesterday we were at a rally and I got to talking to another doctor, and we were talking about immune system, and he was using traditional herbal preparations. And of course I did the herbal preparations, but I did it in an energy format. And you know what? We came up with virtually the same formulation. So he and I were on the same page, with a few differences. He didn't include the iodine, which I included because iodine in the form of kelp. I included that because it activates vitamin A. And I included the fulvic humic acid, which he did not include. And the reason I did the fulvic humic acid was because of the fact that the fulvic acid actually helps to reduce viral load, the fulvic humic acid. And at the same time, helps to bring trace minerals right into the cell and reduce the amount of stress, antioxidant stress, or free radical stress rather, because the fulvic humic acid is kind of bidirectional when it comes to being an antioxidant. So the natural step after energy would be sleep, and that's the one that we did. And you'll see that rather dramatically as soon as I'm able to get it to Karen. And of course, Karen's not going to hold back. As soon as she gets it, she has the serial numbers, and she'll begin to mail them out. So that's what we've done. And sleep doesn't require a whole lot more, but what happens when you don't sleep requires a lot of effort. People don't really realize. They kind of lose track of how much sleep they've had. And it's important to have a good night's sleep. So what we want to be sure is that everybody before they go to bed is well hydrated, is relaxed. And actually, I like to take a pinch of sea salt or Celtic salt or Himalayan salt and put it on the back of your tongue just before you go to bed. Let it dissolve, and then drink some water, a good amount of water along with it. Because it's been found if people are not hydrated, they open themselves up to other types of problems in their sleep. And those could be leg cramps and a lot of different other things, which we can cover later on. So that's what we would like to see people do. So do I have any questions?
I have a question. Well, actually, it's something that I read. I'd like to share it, that we shouldn't be on our phones or, even computer. We shouldn't be looking at a screen for at least 2 hours prior to going to bed, because that interferes with our sleep. And also for women in particular, we should be in bed by 10, lights out, and going to sleep by 10 for the sake of our hormones.
Yeah.
Because every hour before midnight counts as 2, right?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot to that, Karen, because a lot of people have done a study and they found that at certain times during the sleeping process or during the night, different functions happen in your body. Like early morning, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning is when the digestive tract seems to heal itself. And I've never been really proficient on all of that, but the thing is to try to sleep through the night. Now, women have actually more hormone issues than men, of course, but then men have problems staying asleep all night. So we're going to have to work on that. And as you know, in the background, Karen, we do have a prostate formula, which is being developed. I can share a few facts with you, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
It's taken over 6 months, okay? It's not me that's developing this. I'm working a little bit on it, but I'm not the developer. Over 6 months, over 80 herbs are being researched, okay?
Wow.
These herbs come from as far away as Norway and as exotic as pollen from different types of pine trees, down below the equator into South Africa and into the Amazon. 80 different herbs. Some you would recognize, some you wouldn't, or most you would not. And the formulation is being developed so that it is functional in 4 different ways. So there'll be something about nutrition in there, a little bit about physiology, a little bit more about psychology, and some more about spirituality. So it's going to be a very comprehensive one. This is some of the things that are being worked on that are not ready to release yet, but will be, and not necessarily being done by me, but by other clinicians. So a lot's happening, Karen.
Yes. Dr. Lou has some great surprises in store for us. Yeah, it's exciting.
More than you can imagine is going on in the background, and we're going to continue to develop these types of things. So, Pamela, you can give me that question.
Okay, here's my question. When a woman goes through menopause and there's that imbalance with the hormones, how does that affect your sleep pattern? And does it, I mean, does the panel kind of help with those issues? Your
Yeah,
sleep panel?
it's going to help, but Pamela, it's probably more, to work on it. Just like with a man, prostate is an issue. Women have a different issue, and that's menopause. And so there are probably more hormones that control that are getting involved. Well, there actually are, than with a man who has, one basic problem, and a lot of problems around it. So we will design Pamela, similar to what we're doing for prostate issues. We'll develop protocols for women as well.
Okay, because I was just wondering, because I know you get the hot flashes, the night sweats, and your sleep is just messed up totally. So I was just wondering.
Most men here are severe. With that, it's the women are.
It's good to know.
And what we can do is we can go out there and remediate it.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
Well, I thought it was interesting what you said about men, because it does seem to be, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I've known some men, actually the developer for the new app, he suffers from insomnia.
Mm-hmm.
And it does seem to be more common with men than women for some reason.
Right. Well, I not only insomnia, but I was talking about when Pamela talked about hot flashes and all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
Many of us have lived through that. Let's put it that way, and have an idea of what's involved. Particularly if you're a clinician, you get to understand the hormonal imbalances and how these things can come on, and when they come on, and when they come on unexpectedly. So we can make adjustments, and we'll begin to do that. Insomnia, for many people, particularly people that travel, if they're traveling or they're working in different time zones, they get all out of whack, and what we try to do is bring them back into stability and get them balanced. That's something we can work on.
Yeah, thank you. I was also told, I remember you sharing about this before, and I can't remember what you said, but there's a reason why melatonin is better than 5-HTP, even though 5-HTP is the precursor to melatonin. So why is it we should take melatonin?
Well, melatonin is naturally something we have. And the problem with melatonin is that some people receive too much of it, and they go out and supplement with more than they should. So again, what is the ideal amount? There's really no way to know, particularly when you're on a telephone call talking to people all over the country who you really even have the opportunity to see. But we don't know what the best amount of melatonin is. In some cases, it may be greater or lesser than other cases. So almost you have to let the device, through intention, of course, make the decision. And so that's kind of what happens when you use the quantum infinity. It's kind of funny. Dr. Ted is with me here today. Say hi, Dr. Ted.
Hi.
Hi, Dr. Ted.
Howdy.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Great to have you both here together.
Can I share with them what happened when I did quantum infinity on you and we found those 3 bruises and things?
Yeah.
Okay. How long ago was that, Dr. Ted?
When I had the accident.
Yeah.
When I was a child, 5 years old.
Okay. How many years ago was that?
85.
85 years ago, when he was 5 years old.
Wow.
He had an accident.
Amazing.
Okay. He crawled on. Was it a tractor or a car?
No, the car turned over on me,
A car.
and the muffler hit me on the back, and it burned my skull.
Okay. The car turned over on him. It hit him on the back, and it burned him on the skull, put a dent in his head, and the hair won't grow the way it should there. Okay, so we did the quantum infinity on him on injuries. Okay, this was yesterday, the day before. Yeah, we did it, the quantum infinity, and but Karen, as you know, I'm no expert on this, but I'm beginning to learn. So what did I find, Karen? I found a head injury, I found a burn.
Mm-hmm.
I found, what else did I forget? The three things that happened I found. And so we went to work. Now, how would I not, I mean, I know Dr. Ted, but how would I, through my intent or his intent, using this device, be able to locate those three things that happened 85 years ago? You know?
It's the quantum infinity is very intuitive, but it's also you, Dr. Lou. You know, it's the intention that you're using to help Dr. Ted. You know, it's a trivector field, isn't it? When you're working with a client, it's the two of you and the device working together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that creates the effect. Mm-hmm.
And I think you first of all have to have the intention to help, which
Yes.
is what I do. Sometimes you don't know how far back those injuries are. Here we're talking about 85 years ago. And why has that continued to be an issue? And I would say because of his age at the time, 5 years old, he didn't understand what happened. And now we're going in there and we're looking someplace deep inside where there's more than just an injury, there's trauma involved. And the trauma has not been relieved at this point, or is in the process of being relieved. So that's what we're starting to see. And then we're going to have to, Karen, we're going to really have to get into the part where we can dig deeply, which becomes more than just herbs and becomes more than just essential oils. It becomes a whole lot more. It becomes a multi-part type of thing, which is what we're going to start to do. That's why I mentioned the prostate formulation, because it's 4 parts, not just 1 or 2, 4 parts. A lot of moving gears in that, you know?
Yeah, that's going to be an extensive panel.
It is. It's going to
Very
take
excited. Uh-huh.
I believe it's going to come with about 21 or 22 pages of documentation.
Wow.
Okay. And I guess I'll be the one making it. That's okay. No, I mean, I look forward to doing it. I'll be honored to.
I hope by that time, Karen, I can have my assistance. Everybody should know that I write the panels and send them to Karen. She puts them together only because I haven't been that good at it yet. I haven't had enough time, but I'm going to start to buckle down and learn how to do that as well. The panels to write, I have no issue. It's learning all of the jargon and stuff that I have to do that I haven't captured yet.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. Well, you know, if you have time and you can sit and be relaxed while you're creating the panel, it's a very creative process. And the research too, you know, it's the time, you know, if you have time on your hands, then it's good. If you don't, then it can be a little stressful. But yeah, did you receive the proficiency training?
I have not.
Brenda and Sharon? They sent it to you. Yeah, after the call that we all had, they sent it to you and Victor and Tanya. Yeah, I'll ask them to resend it. In fact, they CC'd me on it. I think it's one code that you all use to access it. It's all online.
All right. Well, let's see. When I get back, Karen, I'll have,
Okay.
Ted and Sue keep me busy.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Dr. Lou, I have another question for you.
Yeah, sure.
When you go to sleep, and you sleep for maybe, let's say you go to sleep at 10:30 at night, by 12:30, you're wide awake. What causes that, and how can we fix it? Because then you're up for a couple hours until you get, you know, something kicks in, and then you finally get back to sleep. But what causes that?
Well, usually what happens is, you know, you start to relive the day, you start to work out some problems, and they all come at once late at night. And so the issue is then, why are you waking up and staying awake? Okay. Now I had that same problem a while ago, but so far it's resolved, and I don't have it right now. So to tell you exactly what it is kind of hard, and people go through all kinds of exercises. Sometimes the panel may not be enough, you know, to give you a full night's sleep. I don't know, but we can refine and define these panels and change them in certain ways so that you know, we can get more reason to sleep.
Yeah, it just seems odd. You know, I can be sleepy and I can go to bed and I'll fall asleep right away, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm wide awake. It's like I can't get back to sleep.
Dr. Ted says that's his problem as well. So,
Oh, good. I'm glad I'm not alone. That's good.
not alone.
And what time is that, Pam? What time is it the same time every morning you wake up?
Yeah, it's usually, it's maybe a 30-minute window, maybe one way or the other, but I try to go to bed around 10:30, and then anywhere from 12:30 to 1, maybe 1:30, it always kicks in.
And then you find it difficult getting back to sleep, or you can't get...
I just can't get back to sleep, and I'll sit there and toss and turn and go back and forth, and then I'll go out and it's like, okay, I'll get a glass of water, go to the bathroom, and it's like, what do I do now? Because I'm wide awake. I have no urge to go to sleep. So it's just crazy.
And that's not necessarily a good thing, Pamela. You want as much of a straight night sleep as you can. To get up once at night is not a problem, but to get up and stay up is the problem, because then you don't get the rest you need. It takes a while to get back into REM sleep. And
oh yeah, definitely. I'm right there with you. I understand, I need to sleep. It's just trying to do it. It's just not working. So I was really excited about your sleep panel, because I'm like, ooh, maybe I'm going to sleep all night. That'd be great.
I had a good experience with digestion. Let's see what happens with sleep, and we'll have that out to you early next week. Okay.
Oh, that's fine. I'll be your guinea pig.
Me too.
Karen, how many people registered for that?
Well, we had about 26 register, but I didn't send, we did a little experiment, because we send the webinar schedule out, the email out every Monday. Mm-hmm. And I usually send a reminder out for the Friday, and I send a reminder out, no, just for the Friday actually, because it's at the end of the week. Well, I wondered this week whether to do that, because, some people feel it's unfair that I just send the reminder out for the Friday, not the other webinars. And we didn't have as many people actually join us on the webinar. We had a lot of people register, but they didn't, so maybe they forgot. So I think I will continue sending the reminders out on the Friday morning.
Yeah, it might. I mean, if there's a way to do that,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because this is a very, it's a very good webinar, and we're giving away, very valuable panels, and very, highly effective panels. I mean, especially with the oils. Mm-hmm. So I think I will start doing that again, send out the reminder. I just actually was texting with Al, and to see whether he's going to join us. And he said he would love to, but he's got to get up early to come to you tomorrow.
Isn't that something we're going to see?
Yeah. Oh, I think I'll move to Florida. You're all there.
Yes, you should.
I know, right?
It's funny, Pamela and Karen, I felt strangely, oddly at home here. I haven't been here since 2012, I think, or 13 or 14. I'm not sure what the year was. But, I feel strangely at home. I mean, because I lived so long in Florida. I don't Florida as well. I mean, here it's just a little bit more temperate. It's not quite.
Yes. Well, yes. It gets warm during the day.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, it's new. The roads are great and straight. I'm not used to a straight road. I don't know what that is.
No hills. No hills.
It's funny because Dr. Ted has got a home up not too far from me in North Carolina. What, about an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah, about an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half away. And he lives on one side of one mountain. I live in the Newfound Mountains, which just are off the Smokies, and then he lives in another set of mountains beyond that. We once in a while come down here to the flat ground. And I haven't, but he has a home down here. He's down here 6 months. So he was kind enough, he and Sue, to invite me. And I surprised myself and said yes. So I'm down here. Now, Al is probably an hour away. So we'll see Al tomorrow.
Yeah, he said about 2 hours.
Is it 2 hours? Okay. He's in Lakeland. We're here in St. August. Ted is in Jacksonville, just outside of Jacksonville. Mandarin, it's called.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Is it more humid there than it is in North Carolina?
I don't know. It's humid in a different way. North Carolina can be damp humid, you know, in the wintertime or when it's raining and stuff. South Florida is hot humid. And then both of them have the opportunity to be beautiful. North Carolina right now is probably low humidity and about 70 or 75 degrees. Here it's about 85 degrees and sunny and beautiful. Kind of like your weather in California.
Yeah.
But
Not so humid.
yeah, you're drier out there.
Yeah.
But it has an advantage. I mean, we had a good time yesterday with a bunch of people. We went and I got to see a fantastic new way of presenting physical therapy using energy work. You know, where this woman not only put her hands on people to do the physical therapy, but was able to find out where the stresses were coming from. And one vein in particular, didn't she say the vagus vein or one of them? There was some stress there. So, you know, we're just finding out such neat stuff and new stuff. Too bad it happened so late in life to me. You know?
So was it a form of Reiki that she was using?
It's hands-on. It wasn't like Reiki.
Okay. Uh-huh.
What was it, Ted?
Yeah, I don't know the name of it, but I've been going there for a while, and she lays her finger down my backbone like that machine did.
Yeah.
And she puts down, and she just sits there and she'll push this one over, and she arranges them, and then she's giving me exercises to correct my posture.
Actually, she's going to muscles. She doesn't, you know, a chiropractor can use what he calls an activator. And there's none of that. It's
Just
more,
her fingers.
yeah, more energy work. It's just amazing. And he felt good when she came off. I've been running him, in the tray, in the quantum infinity.
Yeah, multi-level, multi-layer.
Multi-layer system. And when I last looked, I had about an 85% improvement. So it's been,
great.
been running overnight. And
Yeah.
we continue.
Doing good.
Let's get some more questions. We got sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm anxious.
Well, Maria actually has a question on sleep. Maria says she really gets a good night's sleep, but on the odd occasion where she feels like she had a good sleep, she wakes up very tired.
Yeah. How about your breathing, Maria? What are you doing at night when you breathe? Do you have issues?
Maria, would you like to unmute yourself? Or
Hi, I'm here. Thank you.
oh, hi.
How do you mean my breathing?
I mean your breathing, because a lot of times people, they pause. Their breathing pauses at night, and you know they
Oh, like sleep apnea?
like that. Doesn't have to be that serious, but that's okay. You know, you don't stay oxygenated late at night.
Yeah. I don't know, not that I'm aware of. Yeah, I don't know, but I've had that for ever since I can remember. I'll go to sleep or I'll go to bed. I'm just really, really tired. And kind of like Pam was saying, you go to sleep. And then for me, though, most of the time I don't go to sleep and I'm still awake at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I'll get up and do some stuff. And then maybe somewhere between there and 6 o'clock or something, I'm finally really tired. And then I'll go sleep for a while. But on the odd night where I'll go to sleep or go to bed and go to sleep fairly early and think in the morning I've had a good sleep, but then I'm still tired when I wake up.
You're not. So why don't you try what I said earlier? If you were on, if you weren't on, take a pinch of either Himalayan, Celtic, or sea salt.
Oh, right. Yes.
Put it towards the back of your tongue, and then have a glass of water. Okay. See.
Okay.
What we're doing then is we're taking trace minerals into the body.
Right.
So in your body, the cells in your body have to be the right shape. Okay. So if they're out of shape, water doesn't flow in as well. The garbage doesn't go out as well. So what we want to do is have the right osmotic pressure inside the cell. See if that doesn't work. I'll give it.
And I thought I might comment on the melatonin. When I was going to see a naturopath about the sleep thing, she suggested that I take it. And I think she suggested that I start out with, I can't remember if it was 2 or 4 tablets, and I forget the dosage at the time. But anyway, and then when I went back for subsequent visits, and I still wasn't sleeping, and then she said, well, just keep taking more melatonin until you get to 10,000 milligrams, I think it was. And or she just kept telling me every week to up it by a bit, but if I got to 10,000 and it wasn't working, then to stop. But I got to 10,000 and it never helped, so I quit taking it.
The melatonin may not be the issue, okay? And we'll use the same thing that we talked about once before. Someone that I heard about, okay, this is, this is kind of whisper down the lane information, but there was a lady who was having difficulty with vitamin C, processing it in her body, and she would have the symptoms of not being able to have vitamin C. So no matter how much she took, even if she took ascorbic acid to the bowel intolerance, because if you take too much vitamin C, you're going to get bowel intolerance,
Right.
So what happened? Well, someone used a device similar to this, and they were able to, in the energy field around her, be able to give her the information for vitamin C. And we're going to call it information or energy, whatever you choose to call it, because it's not anything physical. And by doing that, she was now able to use or utilize in her body the vitamin C, which she was, instead of taking ascorbic acid, now was able to get involved with more natural forms like camu camu or rose hips or acerola cherry or even citrus fruit, and was able to process it and not have those symptoms any longer of that condition. So it could be same for you. So it's just when you get the sleep panel, you've got melatonin. I put that in there. So let's not, if the melatonin, the adequate amount or the proper amount or the amount that you already have is not being utilized in the way it should be. So that's what, that's what I'm thinking. And that's what happens.
Okay, so when I'd use the nutriopathy or whatever it's called panel, I think I think there's melatonin in there, and it hasn't never shown up as a as an issue, or and neither has vitamin C.
Okay, I don't recall putting. Okay, that
no, not in your panel. In the what we have already in our Da Vinci screens there, the nutriopathy.
Hard to say why it would or wouldn't. There's a difference between a low number and a high number. Neither one I almost think of them as chaotic or a cohesive type of stress. The word I want to use, I can't remember right now. But yeah, so because it doesn't show doesn't necessarily mean that it's not an issue. Okay.
Okay.
It may be a complementary issue. There might be something that is complementary with it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Do we have any other questions? But time to get them answered.
Tammy has a question here. How does high cortisol affect sleep?
Well, I'm going to guess that because cortisol is a stress hormone, is going to be an issue. You're not going to sleep as well if you have stress. So what we have to do is try to eliminate stress. And how do you eliminate stress? Well, a lot of different ways. I'm basically working on panels to do it. So we're using those oils like lavender, which may help in that regard. So we have lavender, lavender. We put frankincense in there. We put a number of things. So all of them are known to help with sleep. Which one is going to help with sleep or cortisol, I can't say. But let's see what happens.
And which herbs are best to induce relaxation?
Again, that's a hard one to say. Some people, would like the herb lavender in the herb form. You can use it in the essential oil form. I probably put it in both. I don't recall. The hops, of course, is kind of one. Skullcap is another. There's a number of herbs that are going to help with sleep. They all have different, they talk about herbs as being narcotic. They're not narcotic in the sense that they're narcotic. That's how they're described. Okay, they just help with sleep. My wife used skullcap a lot.
Yeah. I know there's some good tinctures. I can't remember what they are now.
Keep in mind,
chamomile tea is really good, isn't it? Yeah.
we use chamomile. We use German chamomile. So when we describe them as what the name is. Okay, so it's chamomile, whether it's a tea or it's a tincture, it's chamomile. Your body or you can choose which way, if you're going to supplement with it, to do it. Some people prefer the tea, some people prefer the tincture. I don't have a preference, but you know, that could be up to you. I found that a diffuser, you know, that you can have in your bedroom or somewhere close, and you could put chamomile in it, or you could put other things. There are tinctures that are made, you know, essential oils that are made to put in diffusers that are for sleep. They use basically the same essential oils as you would use or I would use. The only difference is we go out and look for them, and we're adding more, you know, because of the fact that we don't know which one it is that you need, but we don't want to put every oil in the world in there because that's not going to do good. So we just try to pick the ones we think are most appropriate.
All right, thank you. Yeah. Any other questions for Dr. Lou or Dr. Ted?
Yeah, the question, yeah, Dr. Ted, he's got more experience than I do, but everybody knows him.
So you're both naturopaths.
Yes.
Would back flower remedies, and Tammy has another question about the back flower remedies, would those help with sleep? And if so, do you know which ones?
Well, I've studied Bach flower remedies, and you know, I know the names Rock Rose, and I know Rescue Remedy, and but I've never really gotten involved in them. And so
Okay.
they're easy enough to use because there's a list, and they tell you what they do.
Mhm.
And to me, the always go-to was Rescue Remedy, and we would use that for almost everything because even our cats, when we had a dog. We would use Rescue Remedy when there was a thunderstorm or whatever, and it seemed to calm the pets down. So that was my go-to. You can't be.
It's a lifesaver, I think, isn't it? Rescue Remedy. It's like arnica.
It is like Montana, right?
Yeah.
You know, if you have pain or you have an injury, what's the go-to? Arnica montana, right away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially if the person is saying, "I'm okay." That's the number one characteristic, that you know that person needs arnica.
Yeah, right. And that's, you know, they have certain go-tos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one I go to and I use. And of course, many other people think the same way. It's easy enough. I mean, a lady can carry it in a pocketbook, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have plenty of that around the house. I know, I know that.
So I'm wondering if we can share a little bit, and I know we're not going to call it anti-aging. Maybe we could call it Forever Young, the Forever Young panel.
Well,
that's one of the other panels that will be coming in the near future.
it will be. And you know, when you think of that, so again, that's going to take a little more effort, okay? Because what is it going to do? I mean, well, you can. Some people might, you know, rub their face with a face cream to make the wrinkles go away and things like that. But it has to get a little deeper. And so we would do something, Karen, but that'd be a few weeks out because I got to sit down and I want to talk to Dr. Bruce about that before and see what his suggestions are, because he's my go-to. And when I want to go to things that I'm not as familiar with, because he spends a lot of time doing research, where I don't. I mean, I do the research, but sometimes he's not, I don't want to say light years ahead of me, but ahead of me because he's in contact with certain people that I'm not. And we all have our gifts, and that's his gift.
Yeah, that's gonna be an amazing panel. I mean, they all are, and they're all necessary. But But I think if we can do what it takes to stop the aging process, you know, that is so profound in terms of healing.
Okay, so we have a chronological age, and we have a biological age, and Dr. Ted over here is a perfect example of a chronological age that doesn't even approach his biological age, as he's out there doing everything with me. I'm having a hard time keeping up with him. And I'm more than 15 years, about 15 years younger.
Wow.
So, you know, he and I, we go all day long, and so does Sue. Sue just had a birthday. So we, you know, I mean, they keep me hopping, you know, and, you know, let's go see this person. Let's go see that person, you know. So tomorrow it's Al. We have, what, 2 other people coming, or 3 other people?
Tomorrow, yes.
Yeah, we have a few other people coming. And they're all interested. I had a functional, she's a nurse practitioner, and we showed her the quantum infinity, and we had a long discussion about energy work. She's from North Carolina, living down here. So we had a lot to talk about. And these people want to come back because they see this as the cutting edge of what's coming, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there'll be a time, Karen, you may not be able to get everybody on this call.
I know. Yeah, and I think with all that's going on, people are really starting to value this type of technology, aren't they?
Well, the technology is there, but to make the technology understandable and simple,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's where the rub is. And you know, we're not doing anything that's unusual. We're just available. And people don't really seem to understand that, you know, we've been given this gift, and we're now investigating it and using it, you know, to help people to their advantage. And not necessarily for our advantage, except to help ourselves. But this is not a monopoly. This is not you know, a sham where you can go out and make a lot of money. That's not the goal. The goal is to go help people, and then money follows.
mm-hmm.
I got another question for you, Dr. Lou. I'm going to pick your brain tonight. When you're in pain, like I was in a car accident and I hurt my knee. I tore all the tendons in my knee. And so I have a lot of pain in my knee at the end of the day. And so I guess I'm sure the pain is affecting the sleep as well, but is there, other than arnica, is there anything else you could put on the knee to kind of calm it down to where I could fall asleep?
Say, is there anything besides arnica? Are you using arnica as homeopathic, or are you using arnica as a cream, or how are you using it?
It's just a liquid. It's just a little homeopathic arnica.
A liquid.
Mm-hmm.
You're rubbing it on.
Yep, that's all I do, but it doesn't seem to kick it. It's still screaming at me whenever, even with the arnica, it's still not happy.
Have you thought about Al gel?
What kind of gel?
What do you call your, Karen? I forget.
Sorry, the arnica gel?
No, the Al's gel.
Oh, the infrasound. The aloe, the aloe sound infused, infrasound gel.
Karen, you have it under your label. I don't know what.
Yes, I do. Yeah, we call it resonance. We call it resonance gel, resonance powder.
Resonance.
Story on this.
Resonance. Yeah.
Resonance.
All right, back, Pamela.
Yes.
2000. Yes. Back in 2010. Okay, is when I first met Al. Around 2010. Al, and he's on these calls. Are you on there, Al? No. But anyway, he speaks on these calls. So what happened was, at that time, I designed products for a network marketing company. I designed a pill that would be taken for circulation, you know, all that goes on in that area. I designed an energy drink that was all natural in a powder, and some other things. The fulvicumic acid, I got involved with that for them. And then Al's product came into existence for us. And we had some powder, just a little, and we had some gel, not much. So I was on my way to Oklahoma. I was at the home office of the network marketing company, and they had asked me to give a talk in Oklahoma City just before Christmas 2010. So we went out, and we had 100 and plus people, about 110 people that we had to speak to, and we had enough cream or gel, it was, comfortably for maybe 10 people to use as a sample. So we asked for volunteers, and we had people that had issues, back, neck, shoulder, all the normal stuff you'd hear. And so we went and had them put it on appropriately. If it was lower back, they went out of the room and did it. And of the 10 people that we used as people that had tested it, we had 9 successes. Okay, 9 out of 10, which I thought was pretty good. And the 10th one was only because of it was ringing in the ears, and I didn't know where to put the stuff. So if you have that ongoing problem, okay, Al speaks periodically about his product. I've been with him on a number of occasions. I know how he does it. I've seen his place where he makes it, and I've been impressed by that over the last 10 years. So that would be something. And I used to use it whenever I got leg cramps or foot cramps. Okay, that's what I would go to for that. We kept the thing in the bathroom, and I'd go in there and rub it on my feet, and my toes would straighten out, and I had no problems. Ted, what did you want to say? Ted's got a.
Well, I've had pain for 30 some odd years because I had a head-on automobile accident, but that's what's been driving me, and that's why I have the 5 doctorate degrees that I have. And of course, the one of the things is the Royal Rife frequencies. That's what I do a lot. And also lately, I'm into the CBD business, and that will get, if anybody's got any pain, sleep, or anything else, if they do a CBD oil, and the CBD oil on the market, 75% of it's junk. But the thing about it is you have to have it at least 1,000 milligrams. And most of the stuff is, and you have to pay about $100 to get it. But when you get a bottle of it, it does miracles. It includes people with epilepsy. I've had them here, and by anointing them, they're out of that. Parkinson's disease and autism. It's the newest thing because it first came out 17, I believe was the first one, and that first company I had drastic problems because nothing happened. Everybody's mad at me for selling it to them.
you got to have quality stuff.
Yeah, you got to have quality stuff. But the point of it is, I now market and a consultant to company, and we're consultant to 4 other CBD companies, and it is fantastic.
Karen, you may want to talk with Dr. Ted about that. I mean, he could label it.
Yes, please. Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get you together with him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does it help for like the inflammation? Because like my knee gets so hot, it feels like it's on fire from the inside out.
Well,
Does it help with that?
Well, here's the, it will, and mine is so bad that the CBD oil does not really get that. So I combined, and I have a CBD and turmeric. The turmeric oil by itself is a real reasonable oil, and it does more for pain than anything I've done. That's a special thing for inflammation.
Yeah, turmeric works great in concert with CBD, and sometimes even boswellian or frankincense would be involved in that too. I don't, Pamela and Karen, I'm not really using any of, I mean, not that I don't use it, it's just that I'm not marketing it. Dr. Ted does. So Karen, I'll get you with Dr. Ted.
Yes, please.
And you might want to talk with him about some of these things. There's so much out there. We can't do it all, okay? But so what we've chosen to do is to, in my case, is what you see me doing now. We want to include the panels. We want to use the advantage of having this device that somehow, one way or another, by intent or whatever it is able to get in there and help the body to do what it needs to do. And so that's my contribution to this. And then others come along like Al and Karen has already got her own label for Al's product. Al will be visiting with me, or visiting with us all tomorrow, and we'll have Dr. Ted will have an opportunity to see this stuff and how it works. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Makes me feel good that I don't have to have a double-blind study or anything. Now, that's it.
He says if it works, he doesn't need a double-blind placebo-based study. So you just get it.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So what's your secret, Dr. Ted? I mean, you're obviously very healthy. So, I mean, a lot of people don't even make it to the age that you are, let alone make it to the age that you are and remain healthy.
Number one, do not take a drug. I haven't had a drug. The drugs are ruining the world, and that's what's behind all this business by right now, the 5G and all of that. That's what we're doing now, and we're under shutdown and all that. That's all a bunch of baloney. There's over a dozen ways to get rid of the viruses. We got it. So,
it was man-made. It was engineered, wasn't it? It was not natural. It was not from bats.
right.
Yeah.
And one of the main thing we have, one of the things is essential oils, the thieves oil from Dr. Young.
Yeah.
One thing, and then there's we have about 5 different ways. And the main thing, if you keep your immune system up, it will make no difference.
You know, it's a funny thing, Pam. I see you have a question, but let me just tell you about gardens.
Thank you.
And you know, one of the things we do up there is garden. I'm not such a big fan of doing it anymore. It's a lot of work, but I've got the tractor and I've got the field and I buy the fertilizer and I buy the seeds and do all of that stuff. And my neighbors do the work. And so it's a symbiotic relationship. But if your garden is healthy, you don't get bugs. So keep your garden healthy. We went yesterday to see a guy and we went in his organic garden. He had a big pile of horseman and he has all the moringa growing. He had the most impressive thing was the sweet potato leaves, and Ted and Al harvested a lot of sweet potato leaves because Sue is making a soup out of those. Now I don't know how to do it, but Al, who is Filipino, is he?
Yeah, Filipino.
He's a Filipino.
Eat the leaves.
They eat the leaves. So they're making a soup, and I mean they got me stuff today for lunch, so I don't care what. But tomorrow we're going to have, I guess, sweet potato soup, and let's let Pam jump back in here before we run out of time.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. My sister was going to ask you if you'd be willing to do a pain panel.
Yeah,
sometime.
I just saw that. Yeah, what a great one that would be.
We can do a panel, but we don't use that word because that's a medical word.
Yeah.
That's true.
What we will do is we could call it a discomfort panel or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
use the name because we don't want to use terms or terminology or go places where we're not allowed to. As we should have said in the very beginning, that we don't describe, we don't prescribe, we don't
Diagnose.
treat, we don't do any of those things. That really is the purvey of the medical profession. And if you have any of that going on, you really need to get to see somebody who's licensed and can take
Yep.
care.
No
We-
problem.
We do a lot of different things, but we have to be careful of the names.
Right.
So you know, if you are comfortable with a name that fits, you know, that just describe, you know, in advance what it means, fine, I can do that, and I will.
Do you have a recommendation for a brand of the turmeric oil
I
that
don't-
Dr. Ted was saying about turmeric oil? Is there a certain brand that's
Yeah.
better?
Yes. When I got my problem and I couldn't get it, there was only one company in the United States that had the turmeric oil. Dr. Young didn't have it, none of the other companies. And so there was an independent company that I was talking with. And so I told her about it. She did research and we bought like $10,000. I had to send her $10,000 and she brought it and it was and so she makes my brand and 2 others out of that same thing.
Oh,
And
okay.
we have a bottling facility and it's also about the quality and everything like that. But we also put pepper in it, and the pepper drives that in.
Yeah, well, black pepper activates turmeric, and so in many cases, people add the black pepper to the turmeric to have that extra benefit. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Well, you guys tell me when my time is out, but I can take questions until you shut me off.
You know what? If I can send some of them some samples if they like.
Yeah, let's get Karen hooked up with this, and then she can get that stuff out too.
Yeah,
I'd love to. Thank you.
I need some guinea pigs.
I mean, I hate to say it, Pamela, but you got a perfect situation there, where what we want to do is reduce that issue you have with your knee, so that it doesn't pain you as much.
Oh no, it'd be great. They say I have rheumatoid arthritis in there, but none of the blood tests came back showing that I have rheumatoid arthritis. And so the doctors that I've gone to see, all they want to do is replace it. They don't want to, they said that's the only thing they can do to fix it now that all the tendons are torn in my knee. So, and that came from the car accident. So I'm not ready to go down that road yet. So I'm trying to baby it as much as I can so I can keep working.
Well, you want to,
Good for you. Yeah.
On that arthritis, prescribe boron.
Boron?
Boron.
Where
And
do
you
you
get boric acid.
boric acid.
Yeah, and boron.
Mhm.
That helps a lot of people.
Thank you.
We'll probably continue. Well, not probably. We'll continue next week, and this week we will get those panels out to you. Next week, of course. What did we say we were going to do? We said we were going to do some kind of brain health, and we want to increase short-term, long-term memory. Just people say as you get older, you can't think as well. Well, look at this guy. So,
I know there's no excuse for any of us. So I know with stress, long-term stress causes short-term memory loss.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've seen that in many people.
We were talking about that today. So what is stress, or what isn't stress? Sue and I were talking about it. The EMFs is stress. The environment is stress. Driving down the road is stress. Paying your monthly bills is stress. Everything is stress. So what we have to do is try to get rid of as much as possible stress.
Mm-hmm.
Not totally possible, but we'll and some stress is good, but not as much stress as we get. So we'll get out there and we'll put something together, and you'll have it next week.
Thank you. Well, I wish I could be a fly on the wall with you guys all being together tomorrow talking about what's going on with this coronavirus.
We won't talk too much about that. We're going to talk, maybe, depends on where a lot of that stuff's talked about in private. And
Yeah, I know.
I don't anyway. But, I have my own personal opinions on it.
Yep. I know. Don't get us started, eh, Dr. Ted?
Colloidal silver.
Yeah,
Yeah. Another lifesaver.
What is it, 5 points? 5 parts per million.
Yeah, well, it's one company in particular will get it. They have proof that it gets rid of the symptoms.
What?
And it's called biotech. We could give you. We'll email you the connection, and you
Yes,
can order.
please. Yeah, I'd like to order some ASAP.
Well, and as I mentioned to you, Karen, the gel, okay,
Yes, because it stays on, whereas the liquid dissipates very quickly. Yeah.
The spray just comes off, but get it to stay on there a little longer. It's even better. We had a dog, okay, got hit by a car, hit by a tractor, I guess it was, and it took some skin off on the hip. Just pulled the skin loose. The meat was underneath it, so dog shouldn't have lived because of infection. We just bundled that thing up with, or the guy that owned it bundled it up with colloidal silver gel and wrapped it with a Band-Aid and didn't take it off for a few days, and did it again and again. Next thing you know, the dog was back to pretty much normal. So how did these things happen? I don't know. Seemed to. I mean, it wasn't my dog. I wasn't taking care of it, but I saw the results of it. So
yeah. Well, colloidal silver kills pathogens on contact, doesn't it? Whether it's virus, bacteria, fungus,
Yeah.
Not all. So you have to be careful sometimes
Oh.
when you do that, because there are things that it won't do.
Okay.
But there are a lot of things that it does do. So
Does it have any effect on this coronavirus?
I'm not going to say that it does. I don't know. Others might have an opinion on that, but I have not seen the research personally, but Ted has. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe a private conversation with you and Dr. Ted.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I know what your answer might be.
Right?
And it's different from what the mainstream medical is saying.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna send you an email and you forward to everybody, and it'll have the phone number you can order.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you both so much. And thank you everyone for being here and for supporting these webinars. And we'll have that panel out to you soon, and then information about the colloidal silver. And anything else that you two, Dr. Lou, Dr. Ted, that would like to share that would be of benefit to everybody through this time, getting through this
we will,
virus, please share.
we'll have the advantage of having Dr. Ted's knowledge, okay, and other doctors that we bring on. Dr. Rich was supposed to be on here tonight, but I guess he didn't make it. So we got to be, you know, he knew about it because I talked to him about it. He and I had lunch. I forget the day. Oh, I know, Monday or Tuesday. And I think it was Monday. So, you know about it, you get busy, you forget about it. And that's probably what happened, but he's got a lot to share. So we got a bunch of people. We're going to bring more professionals in of all different types of flavors, you know, and they can get involved in what it is that they want to talk about, Karen, and what you want to share. So, you know, Ted's got some ideas here that he's going to get in touch with you on the phone. You might want to give her a call on Monday.
Oh, I would love to have a conversation with you, Dr. Ted. Yeah, I resonate with your passion for holistic health completely.
We'll do that. I mean, I'll be back up there Sunday afternoon, and he's leaving for North Carolina. I think, are you leaving on Wednesday or Thursday?
Oh, it'll be maybe Thursday or Friday.
Thursday or Friday. He'll be going up there. So he's in a place called Spruce Pine, and I'm in a place called Hot Springs. So we're both outside of Asheville.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the Galactic Epicenter of natural healing.
Isn't it? I know. Yeah, it's a beautiful place to live too. Asheville, you were saying? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a hub for holistic health. Yeah.
Ted and I are both outside of it, higher up. So our weather is more harsh in the wintertime than theirs is. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for joining. And thank you for allowing me to not get the panel there on time. I tried. I don't know what happened to it, but
I don't either. It's a mystery, but we'll get it. We'll get it out.
They're probably sitting on my desktop. It just didn't get mailed.
Maybe. So, yeah.
Anything else?
Okay. We'll get it done. Yeah, well, thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Have a wonderful weekend. Relaxing, safe, stay well.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We need.
Yeah, we need to.
Turn on Hannity. We'll find out what's going on.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lou. Thank you, Dr. Ted. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, Pamela.
Have a
Thank
good
you all.
night.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.